Fact 1. Dreams are the hidden gardens of the mind, blooming silently each night when your waking self has stepped aside. Science shows us that these inner landscapes are woven from the firing of neurons, patterns of activity as real as any heartbeat. Yet when you slip into them, they are not cold signals but warm worlds, filled with skies, textures, voices, and echoes of places you've known or never seen. Think of your mind as a painter who never rests. Even when your body lies still, the painter continues to dip its brush into colors of memory and emotion. You may wake without remembering a single stroke of this canvas, but that does not mean it was blank. The picture was drawn, lived, and folded away like a dream letter slipped into the pocket of the night. This is the first secret. Even in forgetting, your dreams exist, shaping you quietly like rivers carving stone, unseen but enduring. Fact 2. You dream every single night. Some people insist they do not, but the truth whispered by research is gentler. They simply do not recall. The dream slips away, dissolving with the dawn. The fragile chemical balance in the brain favors waking clarity, and in that shift, the delicate threads of dream memory fray. But the act of dreaming itself, the creation of story and vision, is as inevitable as the rising of the moon. This fact comforts. Even in the most ordinary nights, your inner self spins tales, offers landscapes, allows you to walk paths invisible to the world. You are never without dreams. They may vanish like dew under morning light, but their trace lingers in mood, in feeling, in the way a day begins either heavier or lighter without you knowing why. Fact 3. Across an average night, you will spend nearly 2 hours dreaming. Imagine 2 hours of flight, of strange encounters, of quiet dialogues in places that cannot exist. Multiply this by the thousands of nights in a life, and you discover you are the author of volumes that would dwarf the length of any library. Yet these volumes are written in invisible ink, and most fade before you open your eyes. Still, their invisible weight presses softly into you, shaping your emotions, guiding your memory, tuning your mind like a harp that vibrates even when the music has stopped. To live is to spend years in dream time, walking through corridors that no one else will ever see, unique cathedrals of imagination that collapse in a mist but never truly vanish. Fact 4. The language of dreams is not the language of daylight. While the waking mind builds with grammar and logic, the dreaming mind builds with symbols. A staircase rising endlessly may not be about stairs at all, but about ambition, struggle, or longing. A door that will not open may be a boundary within yourself, a question unanswered. Dreams are poets by nature. They use metaphor where the waking mind uses fact, and though their messages are not plain, they touch something deeper. Across cultures, across centuries, humans have marveled at these symbols, seeing them as messages from gods, from the subconscious, from the fabric of the universe itself. Whether sacred or psychological, the truth remains. Dreams wrap meaning in mystery so that it sinks past reason into the soil of the heart. Fact 5. Emotion is the tide that pulls the currents of dreaming. Science shows that the amygdala, the part of your brain deeply tied to feeling, glows with heightened activity during REM sleep. This is why joy, sorrow, fear, or peace shape your nightly visions more than the simple facts of the day. If you fall asleep restless, your dreams may fracture into storms, full of pursuit or confusion. If you drift into sleep soothed, your mind may paint calm rivers, starry skies, or houses filled with light. Dreams are emotional mirrors, reflecting not the surface of thought but the deeper waters beneath. They remind you, gently, that you are made not only of reason but of feeling, and that your night self tends to those feelings like a quiet caretaker. Fact 6. Deep within the architecture of the brainstem serves as a conductor of dreaming. Signals rise from it to orchestrate REM sleep, the stage when the body lies still yet the mind is most alive with visions. In this stage, your eyes flicker beneath closed lids, tracing the hidden horizons of unseen worlds. To an observer, you appear motionless, but inside, entire landscapes shift and shimmer. The brainstem does more than trigger these cycles. It protects you, paralyzing the body so that you do not physically act out the dream. This safeguard lets you wander in safety, free to soar, run, or speak without risk. It is a silent guardian, ensuring that the theater of dreaming remains internal, a stage set for the mind alone. Fact 7. Time bends within dreams. You may live a day, a year, or even a lifetime inside a single vision, only to wake and find that minutes have passed. Conversely, a brief dream may feel as though it vanished the instant it began. Neuroscience suggests this is because dreams borrow the brain's networks for memory and imagination, not for the ticking of clocks. They are sculpted in story time, not mechanical time. This bending of duration allows you to revisit childhood, to feel once more the grain of a wooden desk or the scent of an old garden, as if no years have gone by. Dreams remind you that the mind is not bound to the measures of clocks and calendars. At night, time is fluid, a river that can be slowed or quickened at will. Fact 8. There are rare nights when you awaken inside your own dream. Scientists call this lucid dreaming, and though the term feels clinical, the experience itself is anything but. It is a gentle astonishment, the sudden recognition that the sky above you is not the real sky, yet you are beneath it, that the ground you stand on is not solid earth, yet you feel its weight. In these moments, you may whisper to yourself, "I am dreaming." And with that awareness, the dream shifts, sometimes allowing you to guide it softly, like a boat you row across a calm lake. Some people use these dreams to fly, to meet loved ones, to practice courage. Others simply marvel at the gift itself, the miracle of waking within the landscape of imagination. Lucid dreams show us that the boundary between waking and sleeping is not fixed but porous, a veil that can be lifted for just a breath of time. They are rare, fragile, like catching a firefly in the night, its glow flickering only briefly, but long enough to remind you of the strange power your mind holds. Fact 9. Dreams are caretakers of memory. As you sleep, your brain replays fragments of your day. The face of a passerby, the sound of a door closing, the half-forgotten words of a conversation. These fragments are not stored randomly. They are woven into larger tapestries. Scientists believe that REM sleep plays a vital role in consolidating memory, binding loose threads into lasting patterns. But it is not only facts and figures that are preserved. Emotional memories are especially tended to, soothed, and integrated. This is why students often dream of lessons they studied, why someone grieving may see the one they lost, why a difficult problem can feel lighter after a night's sleep. The dream does not merely repeat life. It transforms it, making the sharp edges softer, the scattered pieces more whole. Think of your dreams as gardeners who wander through the fields of your mind each night, watering some plants, trimming others, planting seeds in places you cannot see. In the morning, you walk through those inner fields without realizing how carefully they have been cared for in the dark. Fact 10. Despite the infinite variety of dreams, there are patterns that seem to belong to all humanity. People across continents and centuries report dreams of falling, of flying, of being chased, of discovering hidden rooms. These motifs appear in ancient texts and modern surveys alike, suggesting that beneath individual differences lies a shared reservoir of imagery, a collective dream language. Carl Jung called these archetypes, symbols rooted so deeply in the psyche that they appear across cultures without being taught. Whether you see them as echoes of shared biology, fragments of evolution, or whispers of something more mysterious, they remind us that we are not as separate as we imagine. In the quiet of sleep, we are joined by others across time and space, all of us walking different paths, but through the same night forest. To dream of flight is to share a vision with ancestors who once gazed at birds and longed for wings. To dream of being chased is to touch the same primal fear that kept early humans alert in the wild. And to dream of hidden doors is to feel the universal longing for what lies just beyond the known. Dreams, then, are not only private mirrors but also communal ones, reflecting the shared currents that run through every human soul. Fact 11. The body sleeps, but the dreaming mind never forgets movement. When you run in a dream, your muscles do not move, but the brain regions that control motion spark as though you are sprinting across a real landscape. The motor cortex hums, alive with the illusion of action. This is why a dream can feel so vivid that, upon waking, your heart races as though you truly fled, or your chest expands as though you truly soared. Dreams allow you to inhabit possibility without risk. They let you leap from cliffs, swim oceans, climb mountains, all while your body lies still and safe. It is a rehearsal of living, a reminder that inside the quiet of night you are bound not by gravity, not by limitation, but only by the soft brushstrokes of imagination. Fact 12. In dreams, the senses blend. You may hear colors or taste sounds, though you do not notice how unusual it is while inside the vision. This blending, called synesthesia, is more common in the dream state than in waking life. Scientists believe it occurs because the dreaming brain is less strict in drawing boundaries between sensory regions. The circuits intermingle, allowing experiences to cross. This is why a song in a dream can have a taste, why a familiar scent can carry an entire scene with it. Your senses are not separate in sleep. They are threads woven into a single tapestry. And though you may forget the details upon waking, sometimes the feeling remains, the strange sweetness of a sound, the warmth of a color, the lingering vibration of a dream sky that seemed alive. Fact 13. Not only do humans dream, so do animals. Studies of cats, dogs, even rats reveal twitching whiskers, paw movements, and brain activity patterns that mirror dreaming. A sleeping dog may whimper as though chasing something, its paws running in miniature. A cat may flick its ears in response to dream phantoms. Neuroscience shows that these creatures, too, walk in their inner worlds when night falls. This truth carries a quiet wonder, that dreaming is not solely human, but woven into the fabric of life itself. When you sleep beside your pet and feel them stir in silence, you are not alone in the landscapes of night. Together, you both drift into invisible realms, different yet parallel, as if all of nature shares in the mystery of hidden dreaming. Fact 14. Nightmares, though unsettling, serve a purpose. They are not punishments from the mind, but rehearsals for danger. Research suggests that frightening dreams help us prepare for challenges, testing our responses in imagined scenarios. When you run from a pursuer in sleep or face an overwhelming storm, your brain is practicing survival, strengthening emotional resilience. Even though you may wake unsettled, the dream has served as a quiet teacher, building pathways that will help you face fear in waking life. Seen this way, nightmares are not enemies, but guardians, cloaked in darker imagery, sharpening your inner strength beneath the cover of night. They remind you that even discomfort can carry meaning, that shadows are part of the mind's way of protecting you. Fact 15. Dreams have inspired some of humanity's greatest creations. History whispers that the melody of a symphony, the structure of a scientific discovery, the story of a novel have all emerged first in sleep. The chemist Auguste Kekulé dreamed of a serpent biting its tail and awoke with the vision of the benzene ring. Paul McCartney heard the tune of Yesterday in a dream. Writers, inventors, painters, countless have confessed that their breakthroughs began not at a desk, but in a bed, in the tender dark of night. This is because the dreaming mind is not bound by logic's walls. It lets ideas drift, combine, merge in ways waking thought might dismiss. In dreams, creativity runs wild, untamed, offering gifts to those who listen. Even if you never invent a symphony or discovery, your own dreams are doing this quietly, blending thoughts, generating new connections, creating inner worlds where possibility lives. Fact 16. Dreams often revisit unfinished stories. Perhaps you have noticed how a dream will carry you back to a place from childhood, a school hallway, a garden long gone, or a house that no longer stands. These are not random returns. Neuroscience suggests the brain revisits such places to reprocess unresolved emotions or lingering memories. The dream is like a caretaker returning to an old room, dusting it gently, rearranging what was left behind. Sometimes these returns bring comfort, as if the past is offering a gentle hello. Other times, they feel strange, heavy, tinged with longing. Yet always, the dream is doing its quiet work, gathering fragments of your life and reshaping them into something new. In this way, the night becomes both memory and transformation, allowing you to touch again what time has taken, if only in vision. Fact 17. Many dreams are stitched from the day before. Psychologists call this the day residue effect. The conversation you had in the afternoon, the street you crossed, the song you heard faintly in a shop, all may appear again that night, but disguised, rearranged, expanded. It is as though the mind collects loose threads from waking hours and sews them into dream fabric. But it does not simply repeat, it blends. The stranger you passed may appear as a companion in a different city. The song may become the voice of a bird. The street may open into a desert or ocean. The dream takes the small grains of daily life and grows them into entire landscapes. This process reveals how flexible and creative the brain truly is, turning the ordinary into extraordinary, reminding you that even your most routine day contains seeds of wonder once carried into the soil of sleep. Fact 18. Some dreams recur across a lifetime. Perhaps you have dreamed of being unable to move, or of missing an important event, or of flying above the rooftops of your town. Recurring dreams arise when the mind returns to unresolved themes. They are like letters written again and again, as though the psyche is saying, "Pay attention here. Something remains unfinished." These dreams can persist for years, offering variations of the same imagery, echoing like waves. Though they may sometimes feel unsettling, they carry wisdom, reminding you of the places within that still wait for healing or recognition. And sometimes, when life shifts and growth occurs, those recurring dreams fade, their message delivered, their task complete. In that disappearance lies a quiet closure, proof that dreams evolve with you, reflecting your inner journey over time. Fact 19. Shared dreams, while rare, are spoken of in many cultures. Two people may awaken and describe strikingly similar visions, as though their minds met in the night. Science is cautious, often attributing this to coincidence, shared environment, or similar emotional states. Yet the mystery remains, and for those who have experienced it, the impression is profound. It feels like proof that our minds are not entirely separate, that in the deep ocean of sleep, currents may overlap. Ancient traditions embraced this idea, believing that the dream world was not confined to one person, but was a shared realm where souls could wander together. Whether symbolic or literal, the idea holds a gentle truth. We are more connected than we realize. Even if science cannot fully explain shared dreams, their stories remind us of the invisible threads binding human experience. Fact 20. Dreams are deeply influenced by your body. The temperature of your room, the rhythm of your breathing, the heaviness of your blanket, all of these shape the dream's texture. If the air is too warm, your dreams may grow restless, vivid, fractured. If a sound whispers in your environment, it may weave itself into your story. A ringing phone becomes a church bell. A dripping faucet becomes distant rain. The body and the dream are not separate. They converse constantly. Even the simple position of your body, curled, stretched, lying on your side, can guide the type of dream that unfolds. This intertwining reveals a simple wonder, that dreams are not entirely ethereal. They are tethered to the body's rhythms, born from flesh as much as from spirit, a duet between biology and imagination, the physical and the invisible. Fact 21. Some dreams arrive like whispers of prophecy, not in the sense of magic or fortune-telling, but in the quiet way the mind anticipates patterns. You may dream of an event that has not yet happened, only to find a shadow of it unfolding later. Psychologists suggest that these precognitive dreams arise when the subconscious notices details the waking mind overlooks. They feel prophetic because your inner observer has connected threads before your conscious self has. To the dreamer, though, they carry a shimmer of mystery, a reminder that your mind is always listening, always weaving, always a step ahead of your awareness. Fact 22. The colors of dreams are often debated. Some recall them in vivid hues, while others wake believing they dreamed in black and white. Research reveals that most people do see color, but the way the mind encodes those colors into memory can be fragile. Cultural influence plays a role too. People raised with black and white media once reported more grayscale dreams. Whether in muted tones or brilliant shades, the color of dreams is less about accuracy and more about emotion. A dream may appear drenched in gold when it carries joy, or washed in gray when it carries sorrow. Dreams do not merely copy the external world, they tint it with feeling. Fact 23. Falling is among the most common dream experiences. A sudden drop, a sensation of weightlessness, sometimes so strong that your body jerks awake. This is known as a hypnic jerk, a reflex where the muscles contract as if catching you. Scientists think it may be a leftover evolutionary mechanism, a way of keeping early humans from falling out of trees as they slept. Whatever its origin, the falling dream carries a primal power, connecting you to the shared human experience of letting go. To dream of falling is to brush against surrender, to feel the fragile balance between safety and risk. And in waking, it often leaves you with a racing heart, proof that even imaginary descent can stir the deepest survival instincts. Fact 24. Flying, by contrast, is one of the most liberating dream motifs. To soar above rooftops, to stretch arms into wings, to glide over oceans and valleys, it is a vision of freedom. Unlike falling, which startles, flying soothes, filling the dreamer with joy, wonder, even transcendence. Scientists suggest this may be linked to the vestibular system, the brain's balance center, activated in unusual ways during REM sleep. But symbolism adds another layer. Flight speaks to the longing for release, for perspective, for rising above. Across cultures, dreamers have described it as the closest sensation to the divine, a reminder that within the hidden landscapes of night, the human spirit can take flight without restraint. Fact 25. Water appears in dreams with a frequency that scholars and poets alike have noticed. Oceans, rivers, rain, baths, floods, water flows into dream narratives endlessly. Psychologists view water as a symbol of emotion, fluid and changing, calm or stormy, clear or murky. Neuroscience adds that the brain's sensory maps may easily borrow from the rhythm of breathing and heartbeat, creating liquid imagery. Whatever the root, to dream of water is to be reminded of your own depth. The dream might place you in a calm lake, reflecting serenity, or in a raging sea, reflecting turmoil. Each drop carries meaning, a mirror of the tides within. And when you wake, the feeling often lingers, the memory of being held, or swept, or submerged in the vast waters of your own psyche. Fact 26. Dreams often place you in houses, sometimes familiar, sometimes strange. You may find yourself wandering through endless hallways, opening doors into forgotten rooms, climbing staircases that never existed in waking life. Psychologists interpret the house as a symbol of the self, each room a chamber of memory, a facet of personality, a hidden space within you. A locked room may suggest an unopened memory, a window may signify perspective. These houses are not mere backdrops, but intimate maps of your inner world. To walk through them in dreams is to explore yourself, guided by the quiet hand of the subconscious. Even if the architecture makes no sense, staircases bending impossibly, walls dissolving into sky, the feeling of the house lingers, a reminder that within you there are always more rooms to discover. Fact 27. The dream world often plays with identity. You may look in a mirror and see another face, or you may inhabit the body of someone else entirely. Sometimes you are both yourself and another at once, slipping between roles without confusion. This fluidity reveals the mind's capacity to imagine perspectives beyond its waking boundaries. In dreams, The eye is not fixed but shifting, porous, exploratory. Neuroscience suggests this happens because the regions of the brain that knit together self-identity relax during REM sleep, allowing you to experiment with other forms. Spiritually and psychologically, it is a lesson in empathy, that the self is not as rigid as it seems, and that within you lie countless possible versions waiting to be known. Fact 28. Time behaves strangely in dreams, not only in duration but in sequence. You may experience a story backward or jump from past to future without transition. Some dreamers find themselves in two moments at once, both child and adult, both here and elsewhere. This fluidity reflects the brain's freedom from the linear logic of waking thought. Memories, emotions, and imagination mingle without regard for chronology. To live this is to step into timelessness, to feel life not as a line, but as a sphere where all moments are present. Though confusing when recalled, such dreams whisper a truth, that your mind holds all of your life at once, and in sleep it sometimes lets you taste the fullness of that wholeness. Fact 29. Dreams frequently involve journeys. Roads that stretch into the horizon, trains that never stop, boats drifting across dark water. These recurring motifs carry deep meaning. The journey is one of the oldest human symbols, representing growth, transition, discovery. In dreams, these paths may reflect inner journeys you are undergoing, moving through grief, approaching change, seeking direction. Sometimes the road feels endless. Sometimes it leads somewhere unexpected. Sometimes it circles back. Each version reflects the state of your own unfolding life. And though the destinations may dissolve at dawn, the memory of having traveled remains, as if your spirit had taken a small step forward during the night. Fact 30. Dreams often end abruptly, fading without closure. You may wake just before reaching a door, just before hearing an answer, just before landing from a flight. This incompleteness can feel frustrating, but it is also part of their nature. Dreams are not constructed like novels, with beginnings and endings, but like waves, rising and dissolving. The brain stitches them from fragments, and when waking interrupts, the story stops mid-breath. Yet perhaps that is their lesson, that life itself rarely offers perfect endings, that much of what we experience remains open, unfinished, mysterious. To accept a dream's sudden vanishing is to practice acceptance of uncertainty, to rest in the truth that not everything must resolve to be meaningful. The dream fades, but the impression remains, like the afterimage of a candle's glow when the flame has gone out. Fact 31. Music enters dreams like a river flowing from the unseen. Sometimes it is a song you know, played softly by invisible instruments. Sometimes it is a melody that has never existed before, born entirely in the night. Neuroscience suggests that the auditory cortex, the region of the brain that processes sound, remains active during REM sleep, weaving familiar fragments into new compositions. Yet the experience feels more than mechanical. A dream's music can carry emotion so pure it lingers even after waking, though the tune itself vanishes. Some composers have caught these songs: McCartney's Yesterday, Tartini's Devil's Trill Sonata, gifts from the dreaming mind. And even for those who never write them down, the memory of hearing a dream's secret music reminds you that creativity does not sleep, but flows freely behind closed eyes. Fact 32. Faces in dreams are almost never invented. The human brain cannot conjure entirely new visages. Instead, it borrows from the thousands you have seen: a passing stranger, a childhood friend, a glimpse of someone on a screen. These fragments are stored quietly, and in dreams they reassemble, sometimes distorted, sometimes blended, but always drawn from memory. This is why you may meet people who feel familiar yet unplaceable. They are mosaics of the remembered, collages of faces you did not know you carried. This fact is both humbling and wondrous. Every glance you take in waking life becomes part of an invisible archive, waiting to resurface in your inner theater of night. Fact 33. Speech in dreams often feels distorted. You may try to talk and find words tangled, or you may hear voices that sound both clear and far away. This is because the language centers of the brain do not operate in the same structured way during sleep. Syntax loosens, grammar dissolves, but meaning persists through tone and symbol. A single phrase can feel more significant than entire conversations in waking life. Sometimes words in dreams come with weight beyond their content, vibrating with emotion. They remind you that communication is not only about logic, but about resonance. To dream of speech is to feel language stripped to its essence, a direct current of meaning from one mind to another, untethered from rules. Fact 34. Technology finds its way into dreams, reshaping symbols for the modern age. Just as ancient dreamers saw temples and fires, today's dreamers see phones that will not work, screens that flicker with strange images, or endless corridors of digital code. These modern objects enter the dreamscape because they dominate waking attention. Yet they, too, become symbols. A phone that fails may reflect blocked communication. A computer looping endlessly may reflect mental overload. Dreams adapt, borrowing from the tools of each era, but always bending them into metaphors. This is why someone in the 1500s might have dreamed of quills and letters, while you dream of texts and emails. The technology shifts, but the underlying meaning remains the same. A yearning to connect, a struggle with clarity, a reflection of the mind's restless weaving. Fact 35. Dreams can carry intense physical sensations. You may feel warmth from a fire, the coolness of rain, the softness of grass beneath bare feet. Neuroscience shows that the sensory cortex lights up during dreaming almost as if the experiences were real. This is why waking from a dream can leave you with phantom sensations, the memory of being wet, the feeling of warmth still on your skin. In this way, dreams blur the line between body and imagination, reminding you that experience is not only what happens outside, but also what unfolds within. They are proofs of the mind's power to create a reality felt deeply, though no external world existed at all. Fact 36. Dreams often place you in crowds, yet within them every figure feels alive. The strangers you pass may never speak, but they carry weight, their gazes full, their gestures distinct. This happens because the dreaming brain does not sketch vague silhouettes. It fills the stage with remembered fragments of real people, giving depth even to those who linger only for a second. In this way, your dreams remind you of a truth, that every person you encounter in waking life, however briefly, leaves a trace. Even a single glance on a bus, a smile from someone you will never meet again, can echo years later in the architecture of a dream. The mind is a collector, treasuring faces and scattering them like stars across the night. Fact 37. Dreams sometimes return you to places of fear or stress, repeating them until they lose their edge. A classroom where you forgot an exam, a stage where your voice will not come, a workplace where tasks pile endlessly. These dream loops are rehearsals. Psychologists call them stress dreams, and though they may unsettle, they are not punishments but practice. In the safety of sleep, your mind exposes you to these fears again and again, allowing you to face them without real consequence. Over time, they soften. What once was unbearable becomes manageable. What once froze you in fear becomes something you can walk through calmly. In this, dreams become quiet therapists, staging rehearsals for courage in the hidden theater of night. Fact 38. Some dreams dissolve boundaries between inner and outer worlds, offering what feel like visions. You may wake convinced you received a message, though from where you cannot say. Throughout history, people have recorded dreams that seem to hold wisdom beyond the dreamer. Visions of healing, guidance, or revelation. Science sees them as the brain's remarkable ability to synthesize fragments into insight, yet to the dreamer, they feel sacred. This duality is important. Whether explained by neurons or by mystery, the effect is the same. The dream leaves you with a sense of having touched something larger, something luminous, something just beyond ordinary perception. These dreams stay with you for years, not as puzzles to be solved, but as quiet companions of meaning. Fact 39. In dreams, your body may transform. You may grow wings, dissolve into mist, become an animal, or shift into a different form altogether. These transformations are not random. They reflect the flexibility of the dreaming self. Neuroscience notes that the brain's body map, usually steady in waking life, becomes more malleable during sleep, allowing identity to flow into new shapes. Psychologically, such transformations reveal desires or emotions, to be free like a bird, to disappear from a burden, to embody strength or agility. Symbolically, they remind you that your sense of self is not fixed but fluid, capable of stretching far beyond the narrow definitions of waking life. Dreams allow you to explore these possibilities safely, playfully, expansively. Fact 40. Some dreams are so vivid that upon waking, you carry them for days, even years. They are etched into memory with unusual clarity, as though carved rather than painted. Researchers suggest that such dreams align with heightened emotional or sensory activation, stamping themselves deeper into the neural pathways. Yet beyond science, their persistence feels like a gift. These are the dreams you recall decades later. The vision of a vast city that never existed, the moment you spoke with someone you loved and lost, the time you flew above oceans under a silver moon. They become part of your personal mythology, stories told to yourself in the dark. Their endurance proves that dreams are not fragile illusions, but experiences that can be as lasting as waking events, woven into the fabric of who you are. Fact 41. Some dreams are filled with laughter. You may find yourself among friends, or even among strangers, caught in scenes that bring warmth and joy. Scientists note that the brain's emotional centers remain highly active during REM sleep, allowing happiness to spill into the dream world as easily as sorrow. Laughter in dreams often carries an even deeper resonance than in waking life. It feels pure, unforced, as though drawn directly from the heart. Such dreams are gentle medicine, small reminders that your inner world is capable not only of replaying fears, but of generating joy. Even if you wake without recalling details, the echo of that laughter lingers, softening the edges of your morning. Fact 42. Children dream differently from adults. Their nights are often filled with vivid imagery, fantastical creatures, and impossible adventures. This is partly because their brains are still developing, weaving new neural connections at a rapid pace. Dreams for children are laboratories of imagination, places where they test fears, rehearse skills, and experiment with possibility. Over time, as the brain matures, dreams may grow more structured, shaped more by memory than pure invention. Yet those early dream worlds leave an imprint, a reminder of the untamed creativity that resides within us all. To recall a childhood dream is to touch that boundless wonder again, to remember that the mind once painted with colors unconstrained. Fact 43. Culture shapes the way dreams are understood. In some traditions, dreams are seen as messages from ancestors. In others, as sacred journeys of the soul. In still others, as the subconscious processing of daily life. The content of dreams may be similar across the world, but the meanings ascribed to them vary. A snake, for instance, might symbolize danger in one culture, healing in another, rebirth in yet another. This diversity reveals that dreams are not only psychological phenomena, but cultural mirrors, reflecting the values, fears, and hopes of the societies in which they are dreamed. To explore dreams across cultures is to glimpse the shared human psyche refracted through countless lenses, each adding its own color to the spectrum of night. Fact 44. Memory of dreams is fragile. Within minutes of waking, most details fade, slipping through the grasp of recall. This is because the neurochemistry of the brain shifts upon awakening, favoring waking consciousness over dream memory. Yet with practice, dream recall can be strengthened. Keeping a journal by your bed, writing even fragments upon waking, teaches the mind to hold on to those fragile threads. Over time, the act of recording becomes an act of honoring, reminding the subconscious that its stories matter. Even fragments, a single image, a stray word, a fleeting feeling, can serve as doorways back into the richness of the night. To keep such a record is to build a personal archive of the unseen, a map of the landscapes you have walked in silence. Fact 45. Food can shape dreams in surprising ways. Spicy meals, heavy dinners, even certain cheeses have been linked to vivid or unusual dream content. Scientists believe this is because digestion affects sleep cycles, altering the depth and timing of REM stages. Yet across folklore, people have long believed that food holds dream-influencing powers. Ancient Greeks spoke of honey as a gateway to prophetic visions, while in medieval times, herbs like mugwort were used to invite vivid dreams. Whether through chemistry or tradition, the truth remains. What you eat before sleep can ripple into the theater of your night. This simple fact adds a touch of wonder to daily life, that even a meal can shape the unseen worlds you enter after dark. Fact 46. The dream world often carries echoes of sound. A door slamming in the waking world may appear as thunder in your dream. A bird's song may become the voice of someone calling your name. This blending of real-world stimuli with inner narrative shows how porous the boundary between waking and dreaming truly is. Your sleeping mind does not close itself off completely. It listens, absorbs, and translates. Even the gentle rhythm of your own breathing or the hum of the night can become part of the dream's atmosphere. This soft weaving reminds you that dreams are not separate worlds, but continuations, the outer world whispering in, the inner world answering in symbol. Fact 47. Smell, though often subtle, can also enter dreams. Scientists have found that pleasant scents, like roses, tend to create positive dream imagery, while unpleasant ones, like smoke, can invite darker tones. Unlike vision or hearing, smell is tied closely to memory, connected directly to the brain's emotional centers. This is why the fragrance of a flower in waking life can reappear in the dream as an entire landscape. To dream of scent is to touch one of the most ancient senses, older than language, older than sight. It carries you back into memory with a force no other sense can match, turning a moment of night into a tapestry of associations and feelings. Fact 48. Some dreams blur into waking so seamlessly that you question whether they happened at all. These are called false awakenings, moments when you dream of rising from bed, of beginning your day, only to discover you are still asleep. They can repeat in loops, layer upon layer, leaving you disoriented when you finally wake. Though unsettling, false awakenings reveal the sophistication of the dreaming mind, its ability to simulate reality with astonishing precision. They remind you that the line between dream and waking is thinner than you think, and that even the certainty of being awake can be questioned. To experience them is to stand at the threshold between worlds, balanced delicately until the true morning arrives. Fact 49. The body's rhythms guide the shape of dreams. Your circadian cycle, the natural rhythm of light and dark, influences when REM sleep deepens. Dreams in the early night are often shorter, more fragmented, while those in the early morning can be long, elaborate, richly layered. This is why you may remember morning dreams more vividly. Your brain has been preparing, your cycles aligning, your inner world opening more fully as dawn approaches. In this sense, your dreams rise and fall like tides, responding to the pull of your internal sun and moon. Each night is not uniform but a shifting landscape, with dreams blooming differently depending on where you are in the silent rhythm of sleep. Fact 50. Some dreams remain as treasures, carried for a lifetime. They may be brief, a single moment of seeing someone long gone, or standing under a sky unlike any on earth, but their impact lingers. These dreams become part of your story, shaping how you see the world. Perhaps you carry one such dream even now, remembered in fragments, yet still luminous. Scientists may explain their endurance through emotional intensity and strong neural encoding, but explanation does not lessen their beauty. These dreams are inner heirlooms, gifts from your own subconscious that remain with you long after the night has ended. They remind you that the dream world, though fleeting, can leave marks as lasting as any waking memory, carved gently into the architecture of who you are. Fact 51. Dreams have their own weather. You may find yourself under a gray sky heavy with rain, or walking through snow that melts on your skin, or basking in sunlight warmer than any you have felt in waking life. Meteorologists of the mind might say this weather is born of mood. Sadness becomes rain, peace becomes sun, turmoil becomes storms. Neuroscientists suggest that the brain, in replaying sensory fragments, uses weather as a symbol to set emotional tone. Whatever the cause, the sky of your dream is never accidental. It is the canvas upon which your inner world paints its climate. To dream of weather is to be reminded that emotions, like clouds and winds, are passing conditions, shifting, reshaping, never fixed, always moving toward another season. Fact 52. Dreams sometimes carry messages in writing. You may open a book whose pages are filled with words that blur or rearrange when you try to read them. You may see a sign, a letter, a single glowing word. In dreams, reading is often unstable because the brain's language centers are not fully engaged during REM sleep. Yet the attempt itself feels meaningful. A single word may strike you with deep importance, even if you cannot recall it upon waking. These dream texts are not meant for literal reading, but for resonance, like symbols carved into water. They show that your mind longs to communicate with you in every form it knows, even through letters that dissolve the moment you look at them. Fact 53. Animals appear in dreams not only as companions, but as teachers. A bird may guide you, a dog may protect you, a serpent may frighten or heal. Across cultures, animals have been seen as messengers of instinct and intuition, embodying qualities humans both admire and fear. Psychologists suggest they represent aspects of the self, the loyalty of a dog, the freedom of a bird, the hidden danger of a snake. Neuroscience adds that animal imagery may arise from deep evolutionary memory, echoes of the time when survival depended on reading the movements of beasts. Whatever the source, animals in dreams remind you of your kinship with the natural world, of the instincts that still live quietly within your body. Fact 54. Some dreams return you to the threshold between life and death. You may see those who have passed, speaking to you as though distance does not exist. For centuries, such dreams have been viewed as visitations, moments when the veil between worlds thins. Science explains them as the mind replaying memories, giving comfort through imagined encounters. Yet the emotional reality is undeniable. To dream of someone you loved and lost can bring healing, as though the heart had been allowed one more conversation. These dreams may not alter the physical world, but they can soften grief, reminding you that memory is alive, that love endures and forms beyond the reach of time. Fact 55. Architecture in dreams often defies logic. Towers twist into the sky, staircases lead nowhere, bridges stretch into mist. The dreaming brain borrows fragments of real structures and rearranges them freely, unconstrained by physics. Psychologists see these shifting architectures as reflections of the psyche, the tower of ambition, the labyrinth of uncertainty, the bridge of transition. Walking through them can feel both exhilarating and bewildering, as though you are exploring a museum built by your subconscious. These impossible buildings remind you that the mind is not bound by stone or steel. It is a builder of endless cities, each one shaped by the quiet currents of thought and feeling. Fact 56. Dreams can place you in endless repetition. You may find yourself trying to dial a phone number that never connects, climbing a staircase that never ends, or searching for something that is always just out of reach. These loops mirror the brain's way of processing unresolved tensions, circling again and again around an unsolved problem. Though they may feel frustrating in the moment, their purpose is not cruelty. They are practice, the subconscious rehearsing persistence, teaching patience, allowing you to face the feeling of incompletion without breaking. Like a river carving stone, these repetitions soften inner edges slowly, shaping resilience in silence. Fact 57. Some dreams are lucid not because you control them, but because they feel astonishingly real. You may touch the bark of a tree, smell the dust of a road, taste the salt of the sea, and in that moment, you are convinced you are awake. Only later, when you open your eyes, do you realize it was all woven from neurons. These hyperreal dreams reveal the power of the brain's sensory maps. They can simulate reality so perfectly that you are deceived, not for a second, but for entire landscapes of time. To have such a dream is to marvel at the artistry of your own mind, its ability to paint worlds as detailed and convincing as the one you walk in daylight. Fact 58. Emotions in dreams are often amplified. Joy feels transcendent. Fear feels overwhelming. Sadness feels endless. Neuroscience shows that during REM sleep, the amygdala, the brain's emotional center, is highly active, while the prefrontal cortex, which moderates feelings, is quieter. This means that emotions in dreams are raw, unfiltered, allowed to bloom to their fullest intensity. This amplification is not punishment, it is expression. Dreams give space for feelings you may silence in waking life, letting them speak loudly, so they can be acknowledged. When you wake, the volume lowers, but the message remains. Your emotions deserve attention, even those you tuck away in the corners of daylight. Fact 59. Collective stories often weave themselves into dreams. You may dream of news you read, of events shared by thousands, of images carried by culture itself. Dreams are not isolated. They are porous, absorbing from the shared world as much as from the private. This is why, during great historical moments, wars, discoveries, crises, celebrations, people across the globe report dreams that echo the same themes. The dream becomes a mirror not only of the individual mind, but of the collective one. In this way, your nightly visions remind you that you are part of a greater whole, your inner world connected to the outer one, your dreams part of the shared human story unfolding silently in sleep. Fact 60. Dreams fade, but their influence remains. Even those you cannot recall leave traces in your mood, in your thoughts, in your quiet sense of self. Neuroscience shows that dreaming plays roles in memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and creativity. Spirit whispers that dreams are journeys, guidance, secret teachers. Both truths can coexist. To dream is to let the mind step beyond the visible and return changed, however slightly. You may never remember most of your nightly travels, yet they shape you as surely as rivers shape valleys. Each morning, you rise carrying invisible marks of the night, softened fears, rebalanced feelings, ideas planted like seeds. Dreams are the invisible companions of your life, always present, always shaping, even when forgotten. Fact 61. Dreams sometimes bring you to landscapes that do not exist on Earth, yet feel more familiar than your own street. A city of glass towers glowing with inner light, a forest where trees hum like instruments, a desert under 3 moons. These are not borrowed from memory, but born of imagination. Neuroscience suggests that the brain blends fragments of known elements into new configurations, but the result often feels wholly original. Such places remind you that your mind is not only a mirror of the past, but a creator of worlds, capable of birthing realms as vast and strange as any galaxy. These dream landscapes are proof that wonder lives within you, waiting each night for the stage to be set. Fact 62. Some dreams speak in silence. You may stand before someone and exchange meaning without words, or you may walk through entire scenes where no one speaks, yet the message is clear. This happens because in dreaming, communication often bypasses language. Meaning flows directly from one image to another, from one presence to another, like currents beneath water. Such silent conversations reveal how much of human understanding rests beyond words, in gesture, in presence, in feeling. They whisper that you are capable of deeper listening, even in waking life, where silence too can be a language. Fact 63. Mirrors appear in many dreams, and they rarely behave as expected. Sometimes your reflection looks back unchanged, sometimes distorted, sometimes replaced by another face altogether. Psychologists see dream mirrors as symbols of self-examination, showing you aspects of yourself hidden in waking life. Neuroscience adds that the brain's visual networks sometimes misfire when trying to generate a self-image during REM, creating uncanny distortions. Yet the experience feels profound, as though the mirror were more than glass, but a portal. To look into a dream mirror is to glimpse the many selves that live within you, past, present, possible, and to recognize that identity itself is fluid, shifting like the reflections of water. Fact 64. Time of day shapes the flavor of dreams. Early night dreams often reflect the residue of the day, fragmented and short. Dreams that arrive closer to morning are more elaborate, emotional, and story-like. This is because REM sleep cycles lengthen as the night progresses, offering longer stages for the mind to weave. Morning dreams are the ones most often remembered, not because they are more important, but because you wake closer to them. Yet their richness gives them weight, making them feel like secret gifts delivered at dawn. They remind you that the night has layers, each unfolding in its own rhythm, carrying you deeper until morning light gathers you back. Fact 65. Some dreams carry déjà vu. You walk into a place and realize you have dreamed it before, though perhaps never visited it awake. Scientists debate whether this is memory mixing, the subconscious replaying fragments in ways that overlap with waking experience. Spiritually, it has been seen as evidence of the interconnectedness of time or of subtle guidance through vision. Whatever the explanation, the feeling is undeniable, a sudden recognition, a shiver of familiarity in the unfamiliar. These dreams show you that memory is not always linear, that experience can echo in both directions, and that perhaps the future itself sometimes whispers through the chambers of night. Fact 66. Dreams can shift scale in ways that defy waking logic. You may shrink small enough to wander through the fibers of a carpet, or grow vast enough to hold mountains in your hands. This fluidity reflects the brain's freedom from ordinary constraints. Without the anchors of the physical body, your sense of size becomes symbolic. Smallness may reflect vulnerability. Vastness may echo empowerment. Yet beyond interpretation, the experience itself is wondrous. To walk as a giant through a city of light, or to ride on the back of a sparrow as though it were a horse, is to feel the elasticity of identity. Dreams remind you that you are not fixed to one proportion. Within, you contain infinite scales of being. Fact 67. Some dreams place you underwater, breathing as easily as on land. The sensation is often calm, not frightening, as though you belong there. Water dreams carry deep symbolism, immersion and feeling, exploration of the subconscious, surrender to flow. Neuroscience suggests that they may draw from the rhythm of breath and heartbeat, creating imagery of submersion. To breathe underwater in a dream is to accept the impossible, to feel safe in a place that should not sustain you. It whispers a lesson that even in environments of pressure or uncertainty, you can find peace by allowing yourself to adapt, to flow, to trust the hidden capacities within you. Fact 68. Dreams sometimes stretch across multiple nights. You may revisit the same place, the same story, the same characters, as though your subconscious were weaving a series. These recurring dream worlds function like inner novels, built piece by piece, night after night. Science has little explanation beyond the persistence of memory and the brain's habit of returning to familiar imagery. Yet the experience feels like entering a private mythology, a realm that belongs only to you. To return to the same dream city is to feel continuity, a reminder that the imagination has its own geography, and that some landscapes of the mind are too rich to vanish after a single night. Fact 69. Some dreams carry the sensation of being observed. You may feel eyes on you, though no figure is visible, or sense the presence of someone just beyond sight. Psychologists see this as the projection of your own self-awareness, the mind watching itself. In other views, it reflects social instincts, the ever-present awareness of how we appear to others. Whatever its cause, the experience is striking, often leaving you with lingering unease. Yet it also teaches, even in sleep, you remain aware of being part of a greater whole, woven into networks of relationship, presence, and perception. Dreams remind you that you are never fully alone, even when wandering solitary paths in night. Fact 70. At times, dreams carry light itself as their subject. Not the ordinary light of lamps or the sun, but radiant brilliance, golden, silver, blue, or white, filling the dream with a sense of awe. Some describe this light as more real than waking reality, more alive than anything seen with physical eyes. Neuroscience suggests these experiences may result from unusual activation of the visual cortex, generating overwhelming brightness. Mystics have long seen them as glimpses of the divine. However you name it, to dream of light is to be touched by wonder. The memory lingers not as a story, but as a feeling of being bathed, blessed, illuminated by something beyond explanation. It is one of the rarest gifts of dreaming, a moment where you feel that the night itself glowed from within. Fact 71. Some dreams arrive as unfinished conversations. You may sit across from someone you know or someone unrecognizable, and words flow like rivers. Yet the moment you wake, the dialogue dissolves. Still, you are left with a residue, a feeling that something important was exchanged. Psychologists suggest these conversations reflect your mind rehearsing, resolving, or seeking closure. Whether they are dialogues with the living or the departed, with strangers or inner voices, they remind you that communication is more than words. The dream is a place where you speak with your deeper self, where meaning is carried in tone, in silence, in the simple presence of another soul. Fact 72. Some dreams contain doorways. They may open onto familiar rooms or lead into impossible landscapes. A desert within a house, a sky behind a closet, an ocean beneath a floor. These doors symbolize transition, thresholds between states of mind, invitations to explore what lies beyond the known. Neuroscience sees them as the brain stitching together different fragments of memory into one scene. Myth and psychology see them as invitations, chances to step into hidden parts of yourself. To open a dream door is to enact a small courage, to walk into mystery without knowing what waits. Each doorway whispers that within you, more worlds remain unopened. Fact 73. Sound in dreams is not limited to voices or noises. Sometimes it is pure resonance, a hum that vibrates through the air, a chord that lingers endlessly, a tone that seems to come from everywhere at once. These sounds often feel sacred, carrying peace or awe. The brain, free from waking distraction, can generate tones that seem almost otherworldly. Musicians sometimes recall them as the most beautiful sounds they have ever heard, though impossible to reproduce upon waking. Such dream sounds remind you that perception itself is vast, that hearing is not only of the outer ear, but of the inner mind. They are lullabies composed by your own subconscious, sung only once, fading with dawn. Fact 74. Some dreams weave stories with perfect narrative flow, a beginning, middle, and end, as though your subconscious were a skilled novelist. Other dreams are fragmented, chaotic, shifting without logic. Both forms serve their purpose. Structured dreams allow the mind to rehearse coherence, stitching experiences into meaning. Fragmented dreams reflect the raw processing of memory, emotion, and sensory fragments. Neither is lesser. Together, they show that your dreaming mind wears many masks: storyteller, editor, poet, painter. To dream in story is to see yourself as character. To dream in fragments is to see yourself as witness. Both are true, both necessary, both part of the nightly dance of consciousness. Fact 75. Some dreams leave behind not images, but feelings. You may wake without memory of places or people, yet carry with you a profound calm, or a strange unease, or a joy that colors your morning. These emotional residues are proof that dreams are more than visuals. They are experiences that touch the emotional body directly, leaving traces that linger even without narrative. Neuroscience confirms this. During REM, emotions are processed more than facts. To wake with a feeling rather than a story is to glimpse the deeper function of dreams, not to entertain, but to balance, to soothe, to reveal what lies in your heart unspoken. Fact 76. Some dreams carry you into the skies, not with wings or machines, but simply by lifting you upward, as though gravity had released its hold. You float above fields, cities, oceans, the ground falling away like a memory. This sensation is more than fantasy. It reflects the loosening of the body's sense of balance during sleep. The vestibular system, untethered from waking constraints, allows you to imagine what it feels like to drift unburdened. Psychologically, such dreams mirror the yearning to rise above worries, to let go of weight. Spiritually, they remind you of the soul's lightness. To dream of floating is to be reminded that even in life's heaviest seasons, there is within you an essence that knows how to rise. Fact 77. Some dreams carry impossible colors. You may see shades you cannot name, hues that seem beyond the visible spectrum. Neuroscience suggests this happens when the brain's visual cortex blends signals in unusual ways, creating sensations of light that waking eyes have never recorded. These colors feel alive, pulsing, indescribable. They remind you that perception is larger than sight. that the mind itself can invent beauty beyond the limits of biology. To dream in impossible colors is to be shown that imagination itself is boundless, that there are worlds inside you painted in palettes no artist's brush has touched. Fact 78. Dreams often feature strangers who act as guides. They may speak a single sentence that resonates for years, or they may lead you wordlessly to places you could not find alone. Who are these figures? Science would say they are composites of forgotten faces, fragments of memories stitched together. Psychology would add that they may represent aspects of your own self, emerging in symbolic form to offer wisdom. Whatever their origin, the experience feels unmistakably real, as though another consciousness walked with you for a time. These dream guides remind you that help can come from unexpected places, even from within yourself, disguised in the shape of a stranger beneath the moonlit canopy of night. Fact 79. Some dreams replay real events, but with a twist. You may walk again through yesterday's conversation, but the words shift. You may relive an old memory, but in a different place, with different outcomes. These replays are not errors, they are experiments. The mind rehearses possibilities, explores alternatives, rewrites endings. In this way, dreams give you the chance to live more than one version of a moment, to expand your understanding of what might have been. Though you wake to the unchanging past, the emotional lessons of these imagined alternatives remain. Dreams whisper that life is not a single line but a field of branches, and that even unchosen paths can teach. Fact 80. At times, a dream feels like pure presence. No story, no characters, no scenery. Only the sensation of being, vast and unbound. These dreams are rare, and they often leave the dreamer with awe that words cannot capture. Scientists suggest they may occur when the brain's narrative networks quiet entirely, leaving only raw awareness. Mystics have described them for centuries as glimpses of the eternal. Whatever their explanation, their impact is profound. To dream of pure being is to brush against the essence of existence itself, to feel that you are not separate, not defined, but part of a vast stillness. These dreams linger not as memories, but as transformations, shifting something deep within you, reminding you of the quiet infinity you carry inside. Fact 81. Some dreams feel like memories from another life. You may find yourself in clothes you have never worn, in a time you never lived, among people you have never met, yet everything feels deeply familiar. Psychologists call these cryptomnesia, fragments of forgotten information reassembled, while spiritual traditions see them as glimpses of past lives. Whatever the explanation, such dreams awaken a sense of timelessness, whispering that your soul is vaster than the span of one lifetime. Fact 82. The seasons of nature echo in dreams. In winter, you may dream of snow or long nights. In summer, of blazing suns and fertile gardens. Studies suggest that daylight length and temperature influence dream imagery, but beyond science, the symbolism is strong. Each season reflects an inner cycle: winter as stillness, spring as renewal, summer as fullness, autumn as release. To dream of seasons is to feel how closely your body and mind are tied to the rhythms of Earth. Fact 83. Some dreams revisit fears that no longer exist in waking life. A grown adult may dream of failing a school exam or being scolded by a long-gone teacher. These echoes show how memory leaves permanent imprints, waiting to resurface in symbolic rehearsal. Even though the waking fear has faded, the subconscious may still test it, turning old shadows into practice grounds for courage. Dreams remind you that the past is never entirely gone. It remains as soil in which new lessons grow. Fact 84. Music and art born in dreams can inspire waking creation. Beyond famous examples, many ordinary people wake with melodies, poems, or images given by the night. These moments reveal that dreams are not idle fantasy, but fertile workshops, where creativity is free from censorship. Even fragments, a line of a song, a single painted image, can influence your waking imagination, like sparks carried from the night into the morning. Fact 85. Some dreams weave you into stories of travel. You may ride trains that never stop, walk roads that curve into the horizon, or wander airports without destination. These journeys symbolize inner transitions, times when you are moving between stages of life. They do not need endings. Their meaning lies in the walking itself. Dreams of travel whisper that your life, too, is less about final arrival and more about the paths you walk along the way. Fact 86. Dreams sometimes end in awakening laughter. You may wake with a smile, though the story is forgotten. This is the subconscious reminding you that joy is not fragile, that even in sleep, the mind can surprise itself with play. To wake laughing is to feel life itself lighten, a reminder that the night does not only heal wounds, but also restores delight. Fact 87. In dreams, voices of those you miss may return, speaking words you long to hear. Sometimes they bring comfort, sometimes they simply appear in silence. Whether explained by memory or mystery, their effect is real. You wake with grief softened, love rekindled. Dreams act as bridges, allowing what is absent in waking life to be present in the hidden chambers of night. Fact 88. The dream world sometimes reflects collective longing. During times of exploration, many dreamed of flight before airplanes existed. During times of upheaval, dreams of shelter and refuge became common. This suggests that dreams not only mirror the individual mind, but echo the collective one, carrying themes that belong to all. They remind you that you are never dreaming alone. You dream as part of humanity's shared imagination. Fact 89. Some dreams reveal truths through paradox. You may hold fire without burning, speak without sound, die without fear. These impossibilities are not mistakes, but lessons, showing that reality is not always as rigid as it seems. To dream paradox is to feel the flexibility of being, the possibility of holding contradictions gently, like two hands cupping water. They whisper that waking life, too, contains space for paradox, if only you allow it. Fact 90. At the close of many nights, dreams grow quieter, simpler, a final scene before waking. You may see a window opening, a path narrowing, or a soft light fading. These endings are not random. They are the subconscious preparing you to return, folding the vastness of dream into a single image that eases the transition. To notice these endings is to see how kind the dreaming mind can be, closing the curtain softly, so that waking does not feel abrupt, but like the natural next breath. Fact 91. Some dreams are so brief they feel like sparks, a single image, a face, a flash of color, yet they leave an imprint. Scientists call them microdreams, fragments that occur as you slip into or out of sleep. They show that dreaming is not confined to long narratives. It exists even in the smallest flickers of consciousness. A spark of dream is enough to shift a mood, to plant a seed of wonder. It reminds you that even fleeting moments can hold meaning. Fact 92. Some dreams seem to carry you beyond yourself, as though you dissolved into the vastness of space, the ocean, or pure light. These experiences, though rare, are described across cultures as transcendent dreams, encounters with the infinite. Neuroscience points to unusual brain states where the boundaries of self-perception loosen, but the lived reality feels sacred. To dream of dissolving into immensity is to taste belonging, to feel yourself as part of the great whole. These dreams whisper that you are never separate, always part of something larger. Fact 93. In dreams, you may solve problems that resisted you in waking life. Writers have found endings, mathematicians' equations, artists' compositions, all while asleep. The mind, free from conscious constraint, allows connections to form more fluidly. Even if you do not wake with an invention, your own dreams quietly work on your questions, loosening knots, opening doors. They show that your creativity never sleeps. It simply changes form under the moonlight. Fact 94. Some dreams carry a rhythm, as though time itself beat like a drum within them. You may walk in step with a pulse, or hear unseen footsteps echoing with your own. These rhythms mirror the heartbeat and breathing that cradle you through the night. To feel rhythm in a dream is to notice your body's quiet orchestra, keeping time even as your mind travels far. It reminds you that you are always accompanied, always carried by inner music. Fact 95. At times, dreams reflect the future not literally, but symbolically. You may dream of crossing a bridge before facing a life transition, or of planting seeds before beginning a new project. These symbols are not fortune-telling, but reflections of your readiness. The subconscious sees change before the conscious accepts it. Dreams are the quiet prophets of your own heart, whispering what you already know, but have not yet spoken aloud. Fact 96. Some dreams bring healing through imagery. A wound closing, a house repairing itself, a storm clearing into calm skies. These visions reflect the brain's role in emotional processing, turning pain into narrative, creating closure in symbolic form. To dream of healing is to feel the psyche knitting itself together, cell by cell, image by image. Even if the body carries its own struggles, the mind offers balm through night's artistry. Fact 97. The boundary between dream and memory is sometimes thin. You may wake believing an event occurred, only to realize later it was dream-born. These false memories reveal how convincingly the brain constructs experience. Though confusing, they demonstrate the creative power of the mind to make something feel as real as waking life. They remind you that reality itself is woven of perception, and that memory, waking or dreaming, is always a story told by the mind. Fact 98. Some dreams awaken on not through grandeur, but through stillness. You may stand in an empty field, sit beside a quiet stream, or simply watch the slow falling of snow. Nothing happens, yet you wake changed. These dreams show that meaning does not always require action. Sometimes presence alone is enough. They mirror meditation, the simple being with. They are pauses offered by the subconscious, sanctuaries of rest. Fact 99. Dreams are shaped not only by the night, but by the stories you tell about them. To share a dream is to give it new life, to weave it into conversation, into culture. Ancient societies honored dreams with rituals and councils, while today we record them in journals, whisper them to loved ones, or shape them into art. In speaking of dreams, you transform them from private experiences into collective treasures. They remind you that storytelling itself is a form of dreaming aloud. Fact 100. At last, there are dreams that fade completely, leaving no trace. You may sleep deeply, wake refreshed, and feel as though nothing happened. But even in absence, dreaming was there, shaping memory, balancing emotion, tending the hidden gardens of the mind. This final fact is perhaps the most comforting. Whether remembered or forgotten, dreams are always with you, companions that never fail. They are the unseen lullabies of life, carrying you every night into mystery and returning you gently each morning.